Hello and welcome to Catholic Trends. This is the base where we set the pace in everything Catholic. Today I am very privileged to talk to someone very special. I know for most of us at 60 we are retiring, if not already retired. But I'm going to talk to someone who at 91 is still very active, doing something amazing. My guest today is Sister Claudette Burkel. Good to see you.
Thank you. You too.
At 91, you're still very strong, going about your duties and all that. Where do you get your energy from?
Well, I always try to be moving around, not to sit too much. I'm better off if I don't. I feel good about moving around.
Right.
So it turns out it helps you.
Right. Let's go back a little. How did it all start? Why Ghana? Take us through that process of coming to Ghana.
Well, see, the group of sisters I joined are missionaries. They don't stay in their, well, some will stay in their home province, their own place. But many of us will go to some other country, usually somewhere that needs help to get the church well established. And we will do various things. We might teach, some are nurses, some are different types of people who help different places. So we are usually assigned to a certain place. When they know that it's time for appointments, then they will listen to, if they can. If you go and say, well, I want to go to Ghana, or I want to go so-and-so to such and such a place, then they will send you there, if they can. Sometimes you ask for something, it isn't going to work because you're needed in another place.
Right. Right. So you could have become anything. You could have become a doctor, you could have become a lawyer.
Well,
but you chose to become a religious.
I don't think I would have liked being a lawyer. Being a doctor. Not sure I could be a doctor.
Right.
But anyway, it was also a time when I was young. It was more likely to become a teacher than it was to be some other things. It was maybe more acceptable or more common. And some of the women who studied to be a doctor found it very, very difficult. Sometimes they were given a course that was a little stiffer than some others.
Right. So how did you feel when you first heard that you were coming to Ghana to work? When was this?
I came here in 1969, and so that was way back then. And I knew Ghana was someplace that was a possibility because we had other sisters who came here.
Right.
Those other sisters, way back 75 years ago, were first from the United States, two first one. So then for a while we had a lot of the United States and some South America, who usually different nations together. Here we have Asians and among all the different nations, all the different kinds of Africans, and so it's a common thing that you're working with other people.
How was the feeling when you heard that you were coming to Ghana? Were you excited? Were you sad leaving back family and all the close people? Well, I mean,
I always knew that was a possibility that I would leave. Yeah, I would miss my family. I knew that very much. And they would miss me. But that I'd be going to another country was almost a possibility taken for granted. So it was no big surprise.
Take us through your journey as a missionary here in Ghana.
I was first of all sent to St. Mary's Secondary School, teach here in Accra, or not here in Accra, but in Accra. And I taught mathematics and religion. So
mathematics? Interesting.
Yeah. And it was an all-girls school.
Right.
They were nice girls, most of them. They didn't much like mathematics, so when I got to teach boys, I could see some of the boys, they weren't even passing, and they thought math was wonderful. The girls didn't like it. So I taught more and more religion as time went on.
Right.
And helped in the counseling and things like that.
So that was in St. Mary's.
At St. Mary's, I did, but I didn't teach there so many years. I think it must have been there about 7 or 8 years that I taught there. But I taught 18, 19 years in Aquinas. So it was longer time.
Is that why they say you're an old Tom?
Yeah, that's what they say.
So do you agree? Some say you're an old Tom, some say you are a smoker. Others say you're a prison officer.
Oh, I used to go to the prison all the time. I must have started that in the early 1980s.
Right.
Yes. One of the priests asked for some sisters, to prepare prisoners for First Communion baptism. And some other people were assigned, and then one couldn't go yet, so I said, oh, let me go first. I'll take your place for a while. And by the time that she would be able to go, she didn't want to go anymore. But I did, I liked it, so I kept on going.
All right. So how challenging was it teaching mathematics?
Mathematics?
Yeah, in senior high school.
Mathematics with the boys was not so challenging. It was something they were interested in. And first of all, I had younger boys that formed one way they had formed. And most of them liked it. Or if they didn't, they could at least get something out of it. So that was not so challenging. It was kind of interesting. As I said, the girls had trouble with it most of the time, but it was all right too. Some were very good.
We've had people testify, or people share testimony about how you touched their lives in hostel homes and in prisons and all that. Share with us what exactly you did at these places.
What I did?
Yeah, in the hostel homes and in the prisons.
Well, sometimes we had groups. Some of the boys, particularly the Borstal boys, we tried to get some help for a problem.
Right.
There was one young man who had, in an accident kind of, the boy had bled because he flipped the knife and it hit him, and he bled to death. And instead of taking him quick to the hospital, they called the police so the boy was taken to the Borstal, and he was accused of murder. But so when the trial came after some years, then the priest went with him, and he tried to explain things, and the boy was set free, which was only fair. It just was an accident. It was just like boys, instead of turning it over, he flipped it well.
Right.
Yeah. Or sometimes they had trouble more in high school, more in Aquinas than the Borstal. But in the Borstal, they had basic trouble with families usually. But in Aquinas, they'd have some definite thing. My father won't listen to me when I want to do this. And, my stepmother does this, and my father got married again, and now he and my brother don't sit and talk together like friends. And I said, well, after all, I said, when a man marries, he spends more time with his wife than his children. Oh, well. And things that you could explain or maybe help with. Or sometimes, I remember one time I went to police cells looking for something about somebody, and some policeman came in and he said, we have a boy here that was arrested for stealing food, and we don't know, family doesn't know he's here, we don't know where he is, but he went to school at that Catholic school. Can you find his parents? Yeah, well, I could do that. I could call the people, their teachers, and send them. parents didn't even know he wasn't going to school.
Wow.
Because they were poor people who worked late at night and got to work early in the morning. So you'd have some things like this.
Right.
Sometimes you got them in trouble because you told what they were doing.
Right.
So it was they'd come or they didn't come, or they'd think about it. And the girls actually, one of the sisters told me she worked in different parishes in an area. And she said she was amazed because we had a club where the girls went out on Saturday and during the week, 2 by 2, and they taught a lesson. We prepared them for the lesson for religion. We gave them pictures or something that was audiovisual. And then they liked it. I think the biggest thing was they got off compound from school once a week. And then she said, later on she was working in some of these parishes. In so many places, she said, a lady would come and say, I'm a catechist here. You know, when I was at St. Mary's, I helped them teach catechism. So it helped them also in their own religious life. And again, but sometimes you had to intercede with parents.
Right. Paid in terms of surgery, in terms of drugs.
Anyway, for anything that would be legal, like that one case I said would be a rare thing, and the priest would take care of that. We would take care often of more simple things, if there's trouble at home or some trouble in the borstal or different things like that. So, after all, some people, no matter what, all they really want is attention.
Right.
They want somebody to talk to them and make them feel, well, maybe I'm worthwhile anyway. So, I once talked about something. I said, boys, wouldn't you like to be known as good boys? And they said, oh, yes. So I thought, they want to be better.
Right, right. But how challenging was it, dealing with the boys? Because we know boys are quite rowdy both in the schools and in the bostels and all that.
Generally, I didn't have trouble. You always have trouble with students, but generally, first of all, in the school, I started out with the lowest group, and they responded better. I'd say, well, boys, do you think if we could get some pictures, we could trim our room, decorate it? Oh, yes. So you could do a few things they really like to do.
Right.
They listen, and if you help them when you can, they will cooperate. And in the prison, they're just so glad that anybody treats them like human beings, that it helps them just that way.
Right.
Or they would ask for some help, or sometimes more father than the priest than us. It's my parents.
Right. We hear of some lunch package that you had for the boys. Would you want to talk to us about it? What was that lunch special thing that you had with them?
Lunch?
Yeah.
When they were once in the churches. Sometimes there's one church was Christ the King. On a feast day, they usually prepared a big lunch for the boys. They'd make jollof rice and chicken and well, then once time you want to use it as a theme for religion of being happy, and I asked them, well, can you tell us when you were happy? We got that big lunch from Christ.
Interesting.
So that was mostly what that church also helped a good deal with soap. They give them soap.
Right.
And so would some other churches. The prisons always said that they don't know what they do without the churches. And some of the charismatic churches are very strong in helping in the prison.
What would you say are your most memorable moments for your entire 55 years here in Ghana?
I think working with the prisoners I liked the best. It was something that you felt that maybe you have done something, and people were very grateful, and it was very interesting. So I think that was the thing that I liked the best, but that doesn't mean that was the thing that meant the most if you come right down to it. Nothing can tell that, I guess.
Right.
Only the Lord knows that. So, and there are other sisters who get, like we've got sisters who work with the girls who are out selling and
Right.
different things like that.
How would you describe your stay in Ghana?
Oh, I found the Ghanaian people very, very nice, very interesting, very cooperative usually, and I liked it here in Ghana.
Right.
So it was a good thing. Of course, there are a lot of things you got used to in the beginning, but even afterwards, recently somebody was telling me about some auntie of hers and how the father wouldn't accept the marriage money and because he didn't approve of the man and all kinds of things like this. And the whole complication, I could hardly follow for a while. And I thought, well, no, there's a lot of things I don't know about customs.
Right. Do you speak any Ghanaian languages?
Oh, I don't speak any. I mean, I know a few words here and there, but we had a little bit of training, a very small amount of training when I came. Then they send you to a school, and the children are not allowed to speak it even.
So which ones do you remember?
Pardon?
And do you remember any?
Oh. Yeah. Sometimes you'd be talking, you might ask them how they felt or something like that. And we'd have a few words of God. I remember one time I asked somebody, how do you say good morning in Ga? And they said, oh, morning, morning. So, and that was true. That's what you heard on the street all the time. But there was another way.
Yeah.
I had no other way to. And few other things you'd say. You were in a hurry, or they were wasting their time, or something.
Right. Right. You have a favorite meal? A favorite Ghanaian meal?
Pardon?
You have a favorite Ghanaian meal?
Oh, well, I don't know. What's my favorite Ghanaian meal?
Yeah.
I like jollof rice very much.
Jollof rice.
Yeah. And, well, they fix chicken nicely, too. I can cook a few things, but if I have to try to cook a Ghanaian meal, I wouldn't be able to do it because it takes too much spices, and you do it this way and you cut it this way, you know.
A lot of work.
That isn't. We always said take turns with meals.
Right.
And then sometimes one of the sisters in charge would say, in one case, make them something special, something they never get, because they're going to go abroad and they won't even eat it. And they told me that too. If they in school, if they had to make something, and they made something that was for outside Ghana meal, they'd throw it away afterwards. Right. I said, you're going to kill yourself that way. Your husband might get an appointment to outside Ghana, and you won't eat either.
Right. So how do you spend your leisure? What do you do with your leisure time?
Read. Yeah. I like to read. So that's what I do mostly for relaxation. Some others we don't watch much television. Maybe some places do, but in our house we don't. And part of my view, we're older people this year than we were. And some people will visit when you go to your home country, which will help somehow. As it is now, I only have help around the house mostly. So I was going to prison, but then COVID came along, and also the transportation problem came up.
Right.
they wouldn't let me drive anymore, naturally, I guess. And
I'll come for that car.
You come.
Your car, I'll come for it.
Then you come for it, you're going to ask that for a headache every day. It's too old now. When it was a decent age, it was a very good car. And I've had people come to ask me to buy it after it was really too old to be.
Maybe we should auction that for some charity project.
Well, we just fixed it, and then you turn around and it gets broken somewhere else. So what are you going to do?
Final comments for the family that you are leaving behind in Ghana.
The family, people I'm leaving behind.
Yeah, the family.
Yeah, well,
that
I
you've
will
made in
miss
Ghana.
many of them, but many of them have gone to other countries. Some of them have died, not that many. When I get back to the States, they have a number of older sisters. My people have died that I was friendly with. You miss them, you would like to be able to talk to them again, and you can't because they're not there. So, yeah, I miss them. And your own family, we went home every 3 years, and every 3 years you met a new group of
people
little
that you never
grandchildren
met
because
before.
they changed so fast. You had to know them all again all together.
Right.
And I was always happy, very happy to go home and see everybody. I come from a family I was the oldest, and I had 5 brothers and 1 sister. So there were a lot of little grandchildren around in those days. I enjoyed them also. But for teaching small children, I didn't do as well as when I got the bigger ones. So
Right.
Everybody's got a talent. One works one way better than the other.
Sure. I'm quite emotional.
Emotion.
Because it's like talking to you. Most probably the final day that you spend here in Ghana.
Yeah. Well, there's not. I won't live to be 100. I don't think. I said goodbye to the children. I stay at Madonna's school, and I said goodbye to them. And then I said, well, you know, I got old. I'm 90. I was 91 then, but I'm not 100 yet. I said, who would like to be 100? The whole school raised their hands and shook them. They all wanted to be 100. I thought, you don't know when you get when you get not so far from 100. There are things that are not as easy as they used to be.
Yeah.
So,
I think that you'll be more than 100.
oh,
So
I hope
we'll
not.
come over to the US
I hope
to
not.
celebrate you on
You
your
get to be 100.
centenary
If
anniversary.
trouble you can't walk around, oh my dear.
You will still have that by the grace of God.
Well, we shall see what happens.
Right.
After all, you never know who's going to go next. So,
That's true.
oh,
That's true. But God has got us. Right.
so
Thank you so
anyway,
much, sister, for your time. I really appreciate that you made time to talk to me.
And I thank you also that you bothered to do with us, and you were nice about asking questions and polite and accepting. And I hope things go well. That the two of you are blessed for all your extra work.
Amen. Right. So I'm kind of teary, but yeah, it's part of it. So yeah, I've been talking
It's
to.
all right. That's normal.
Yeah. Been talking to Sister Claudette. She has spent 55 years here in Ghana, and it's time for her to say goodbye to everybody, to all of us. But we are thankful to God for giving her to us as a gift, for the many lives that she has touched, for students of St. Thomas Aquinas, St. Mary's Senior High School, and all the people that she touched in the prisons and also in the bus house, and even people outside of these communities that I've mentioned. We thank God for her life, and we ask that God continue to shower His blessings upon you and give you more strength, good health, so that we live to celebrate your centenary. Right.
Thank you.
So,
So
before,
God bless your work also.
amen, amen. Before we
And
take
your
a look of you, though, some people have been sharing with us, some people who have had some encounter with Sister have been sharing with us some messages that they want Sister to have a listen to. So let's go and watch that.
I am Monsignor Alex Bobby Benson, an old student of St. Thomas Aquinas Senior High. I completed in 1972. I got to know Sister Claudette when she was teaching at Aquinas. I then finished. And I must say, over the years, I've admired her very much. Her dedication to her missionary work as a teacher and as a person present in the prisons. All her time after school was for prisons, going to the prison to support the prisoners, the staff and their families. And I've admired how committed she is to such a project. When she retired and came to Koforidua in 2015, she first went to greet the prisons. And since then, she has been going to the prisons regularly and address all their issues. As she's leaving Ghana now, she's still talking about prisons. And I know she'll do everything she can to send her last penny to help the work in the prisons. I've learned a lot from her. She was my English teacher. Anytime I write a script, I give it to her and she will correct it. And I'm proud to have such a person, but sad to miss her. I pray that as she goes back to America, she lives longer, healthier, always having Ghana in mind, just as we also have her in mind.
I knew Sister when I was a student, and I was a beneficiary of one of the beneficiaries of the benevolence of Sister Claudette Burkel. So charitable, so kind. In my homily, I pay tribute to Sister Claudette for the many lives that she has touched. The homeless, she gave them shelter. The hungry, she gave them food to eat. Those who were thirsty, she gave them water to drink. Those who were even on drugs, drug addicts, Sister ministered to them. Sister had a lunch program for students who could not afford to buy food during school days. And Sister would provide them with lunch. We call them the lunch boys. I've forgotten their name, but related to lunch, they are feeding. Sister will pay the school fees of those who cannot afford. Those who had all manner of challenges and problems and truants, Sister will make them their friends. She had a peculiar way of identifying truants, and she will keep the documents and will work on it, call parents, talk to the students, and many of them reformed and changed.
My name is Sister Litwina Ohekoban. I am a community leader of Madonna Convent, Koforidua. Talking about Sister Claudette, I came here as a newcomer in the country. 2006, she was my English teacher. And in this time, I came as a community leader in this community since 2016, up to this time. Everything we are doing in the house, Sister Claudette also do the same. She doesn't think that she is already old. She is cooking, washing. She is in charge of the washing in the house, cooking every Sunday. She have the time for cooking up to this time. So this one, when we are in the kitchen, she makes sure that everything in the kitchen, the dish, she will come and wipe them all for us. So it's very easy for us to live with her. Now she is going home. We will miss her very much. And my message for her that she have to go and rest in her home country, and the work that she is going to do also for us here in Ghana, it is to pray for us, especially for the sisters and the Ghanaian people whom she have shared.
My name is Erin. I am the niece of Sister Claudette. We call her Aunt Jackie. She loves it in Ghana, and I'm sad to bring her back because I know how much she loves it here. I think it's a big chapter in her life that's changing. It's a big chapter in her life that's changing, and I was just happy to be part of the celebration. thank you, Ghana, for having her for so long. I know she loves it.
My name is DSP Samuel Fianco Eshre. I'm the physician assistant in charge of Kofodia Health Center, Prison Community Health Center. So I take care of the inmates when they are sick. When there's a need for second opinion, I refer to the regional hospital for continuity of treatment. Yes, as I joined the service, I heard of sister, and when I was posted to Kofodia 2 years, sister was there, but then I was a nurse. And those days, drugs were not forthcoming, and it's very stressful to treat an inmate when it comes to medication. Then one sister was around at that time. Immediately it was coming every Wednesdays. So when it comes, there's a problem with the drug, she will just take upon herself and then go and buy the drug for the inmates. And he was providing drugs for the inmates almost all the time. And when it comes to referral and there's a need for maybe a surgery and then there's a need to pay some money, some of the inmates, the relatives don't even come at all. They don't even visit them. It becomes a challenge and difficult to even treat them. Sister will you don't know where sister will get the money. You just, for all you know, you only ask for the bill. And sister will just pay for the bill, being a surgical bill or medical bill. So sister has done a lot for the prisons in terms of almost everything. Holistically, it's very good. He has done a very good job for prisons. So now that he's leaving, I don't know whether we can get a replacement.
Sister was also involved in monitoring teachers to go and teach. That is where, if you ask me, one of the memorable moments, it was a challenging time, my encounter with sister. When I was doing my national service under her in the chaplaincy of Aquinas Secondary School, 1992, I think 1992. I've just finished sixth form, doing my national service, and she would want me to monitor teachers teaching in the classroom. She had developed a template. Sister expected that every period. So if first period go run, second period go run. So I said, sister, I've gone one run. Let me wait a bit. No, burn, you have to go again. So it was a way of checking on teachers' attendance to class. And that also helped to improve. And after that, you fill in a query. You don't sign, but the assistant mistress would have to sign. Then the query form will be filled. And you will be told to go and give it to the teacher. So one of the bitter experiences with the teacher was, hey, Ben, now would have been your child there. Last year, penny a child, they all bad monitor me. But me, query numbers. That is to say that I'm taking a query to a teacher who has just taught me. But me, I've been asked to do my work. Mine is to fill a template I filled. Assistant mistress assigned, go and give it to the teacher to come and explain why he was not in class or she was not in class this particular time or particular period. It was very unpleasant. Later did I know that one day I also take this position or become an assistant headmaster in the same Aquinas Senior High School, becoming a headmaster not in Aquinas but in St. Martin's and now Pope John. And sister had been a great mentor and a great formator, I would say.
My name is Reverend Father Stephen Dogoji, SVD. Sister Claudette was my teacher. Form 1, she taught me mathematics, and the following year she taught me religious studies. One thing I remember about sister is a motivation, especially with mathematics. If you perform something well, she gives you something small to motivate you. She was there for everybody. I wish her everything she wished for herself, good health for her. I would have wished that she stayed in Ghana, maybe died in Ghana, but the Lord knows best. And we will miss her a lot. All old Toms, and maybe my family. She knew all my brothers, my parents. Every time she came upon asking about them, I'm going to miss her. But we pray that the Lord will give her the strength that she would retire at home and gain some strength and do some other good things for other people that will come to her life. She has been a blessing to Ghana and to the boys of Aquinas and the prisons. Sister, we wish you all the best. God bless you.
1993, our encounter with Sister Claudette at the Boston Institute, where she's been so supportive of us, boys of the Boston Institute, right from 1993 down. And she had been very instrumental in my attendance in Thomas Aquinas Secondary School, having come out with an aggregate 7. So Southern were the 5-1s those days when I wanted to go to Presec and couldn't secure my admission to Presec, which was my first choice. At St. Thomas Aquinas Secondary School, she also ensured our spiritual and physical well-being. So periodically, she will give us some little tasks to perform, and that will earn you your periodic stipend. Not to mention of the daily lunch that we used to have from her office, which kept us needy students at St. Thomas Aquinas going. These benefits had no barrier, whether you are Muslim, you are non-Muslim, you are Christian, non-Christian. Sister Claudette's charity had no barrier. It was spread across for everyone. She had a special way of actually ensuring that you wouldn't just be a beneficiary, you will also impart what you have or know onto your colleagues. So personally, I was assigned to other students who were weak in mathematics, English or science. That was to pay for what I was enjoying, but honestly, it couldn't have covered anything at all because I really benefited enormously from Reverend Sister Claudette. I'm so grateful to her.
So they have it from priests to bishops. Sister even taught a bishop, talking about Most Reverend Gabriel Edokumoji, Bishop of the Keta Archdiocese. Yeah. So she has formed a lot of people, including priests and bishops. So you can see that she's carrying a lot of grace. But we are so thankful that you joined us on this edition. We ask that you continue to support us by watching our videos and by sharing also. We'll come your way again some other time, and also remind you to subscribe so that you get notified anytime we upload our new videos. Thank you. I'll see you some other time.